Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sports Card Madness. This is LZ. I'm here with Nick, and today we're going to be talking about recent challenges and opportunities in the hobby. And as always, stay tuned for the end where I challenge Nick with a pop quiz question. What's
Awesome.
up, Nick?
What's up, man? A lot of stuff happening.
Yeah.
I feel like I've taken on the role of Robin Hood or something like that on Instagram, and I've started to see some bad behavior, and I'm starting to
Mm,
call some of it out, and it's led us to this breaking example that I want to share with the audience. And so we have a bunch of topics we're going to talk about here in the hobby that some of them are negative and challenging, but we're also going to think like, what's the opportunity here and how can it change so that it's a good thing? How can we learn
hmm
from this?
hmm
So I was watching a break. I think it happened a month ago. I'm a little bit late to the party on it. And this guy was breaking a box of the Topps Chrome basketball, the new unlicensed product, and he was trying to sell spots for a break, and they sold for less than what he was expecting. And when the break was about to start, he said, "Forget it, guys. Break's over. Break's canceled. I'm quote not going to lose hundreds of dollars just for fun. Peace out. Thanks, everybody." And I kind of called him out, and I said, that's like we have an
No, you
NBA.
did call him out. You didn't kind of. You called
Yeah,
him
I
out.
called
He
him out.
needed to be called out.
I attacked him because I don't want him
Yeah.
to. I want people to know how he behaves if they're going to
hmm
gamble on a break, because what he's doing there is he's taking all the upside and removing all the downside.
hmm
And that's not fair because now he's shifting the power of the relationship negatively onto the audience where they get all the downside and no upside. And
Sure.
that's horrific.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't like that. And, it's like I gave the example. We got an NBA fantasy league.
hmm
I'm coming in fifth place. It's canceled, everybody. It's canceled. No, everybody gets their money refunded. There's no winner. That's just not cool. Like, that's just
No.
like taking your ball and going home, right?
No,
So,
Nick, it's like a casino. You're sitting at the blackjack table. In the casino, the dealer puts down I don't know, a couple cards that are like that are kind of everyone at the table is going to win, and the casino steps in and says, "Whoa, whoa, everybody,
not doing that.
hold on.
Casino's
We're
closed.
it's like the river in Texas Hold'em, right? And there's three aces on the table now. The casino. Wait a
Yep.
minute, wait a minute. I can't. I'm going to back
Lunchtime.
away from this one. Yeah, no, you can all have your money back. I'm not.
Right.
Yeah, no, you,
So
you can't do that.
so how can we other than calling people out like this, which I think is important, how can we fix this? And I think
Mm,
there are some ideas. Whatnot has grown very rapidly, and any company that has rapid growth, you're going to miss a few things. And I think that somebody at Whatnot should have some sort of auditing program where, they can't see everything. That's impossible, but they're checking everybody out for a period
hmm
of time. Maybe they even have a self-reporting button. So instead of people having to comment, scammer, 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 bum, stop, clown, there's a like, did this break happen?
Yeah.
Did this break not happen? And then
hmm
it's upvoted and downvoted, and boom, it's automatically sent to the audit team. I don't think that's terribly difficult to put into place. And I think that
Not even.
will encourage better behavior. Because if
hmm
you start a break and know that those buttons are there, you might think twice about starting a break that you're going to bail on. I don't know. What do
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah. My mind kind of went to similar idea as you, but anybody who has Peloton, when you're done with your bike ride and that class is over, a screen pops up and you quickly review the class.
Right.
How was the instructor? How was the quality of the internet? How was the playlist? Like, why can't I would think that would
Hmm.
be great if Whatnot could put something like that in place where it's a quick review at the end where it's 5 stars and there's four questions, five
Right.
questions.
It's
Um,
interesting.
yeah, I do. And I think those reviews should be tied to the person's name, similar to Uber or eBay, right? I mean, I don't typically will buy. I typically won't buy from a seller who's got really crappy reviews. I'll stay away from them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just
So
self-selection, right? That's
yeah,
been around since the beginning of the internet. And I think that's
hmm
just kind of common sense and it should be
hmm
built in. The other stuff I'm noticing with breaking, especially Mercury, is people are having a tough time, getting the retail price of the box. divided by the break spots. So I don't
Hmm.
know how much, Backyard Breaks is paying for a case. Could be 6, could be 7, whatever. I don't know. All
Yeah.
I know is the retail price is anywhere from $8 to $10,000 on a Mercury box, and they're breaking it, and they were having a tough time getting the right amount of money for the breaks, and they weren't alone. They're the biggest, right? There were other
Hmm.
massive breakers that are just like they were openly griping about like how on earth am I going to get my money back on this break? And it just makes me think like, hmm, you know, the opportunity here is to kind of think about the timing of your product releases. If you're tops, Chrome, that was 3 weeks ago or a month
Yeah.
ago.
Hmm.
This Mercury was a week ago. That's within 3 weeks, and then the
Yeah.
season's about to start. So
You hope that Tops is paying attention to this. Hopefully, even I'm sure Backyard is one of their biggest customers that they have, right? At
yeah,
least listen to their big breakers that they deal with and get feedback from them. That like,
yeah,
all right, you can't be pricing this at 8 grand next time, guys. When you come
yeah.
up with the Otani Mars case, you can't be pricing it. It's at 8 grand. It's got to be priced at 3 grand.
We'll
Yeah,
see
that
what
would be another way.
happens. My spidey sense is telling me that prices are starting to collapse a little bit. I know
Hmm.
this is unlicensed and that could be a factor, and it's Mercury and that could be a factor, but I'm just kind of curious how this plays out over the next year. But I'm wondering if this stuff is going to continue to meet Ruben's projections, like his internal team's projections. I don't know the answer to that. I know Tops now certainly must be, but we'll see. We shall see.
Yeah, and speaking of that, let's go to the next topic. I think there is a little trouble in paradise going on, Nick. We just recently heard that Fanatics Fan Fest in Orlando got canceled. It's
Yeah, it
kind
was
of
surprising.
strange. Yeah, it was and it wasn't. It was because for a while they were pumping this thing and we heard all about it, and the first one went so well in New York. This one was going to be a lot more card focused. It was going to be more of a traditional card show. Um, so that was surprising. What wasn't surprising with kind of Monday morning quarterback hat on is you think about like what publicity have you seen or heard about this in
Exactly.
the past 2 months? Anything?
Not
Nothing.
much. Not
I haven't
much.
seen very, very little. And you and I we follow Fanatics, we follow Tops. It would have absolutely popped on our Instagram.
Of
It's
course.
just
Yeah.
not.
They weren't very
So,
vocal about selling the massive kind of conference spots. The things that you
mhm.
sell for 2 to 5 grand, like the big tables that go to the big companies in the space. You weren't hearing a ton of that either, like only two
Mm,
tables left or anything. Sports Card Dad actually did a video about that. It was quite
yeah.
interesting because he used to be in the event space, and it was pretty eye-opening.
Hmm. Yeah, Dustin did a great episode around it, and it was all around like especially these big event spaces. Like you have to book them like years in advance, and it's like, geez, that's why I say kind of trouble in paradise. It's like Fanatics probably had this space booked
Yeah.
for a long time, had to put down a big deposit, and to just kind of cancel
You,
out of
you know what this
nowhere.
reminds me of?
What's that?
It's like you got a wedding a month from now that you do not want to go to. Like you're not into it. You don't
All
you
right,
don't
you're
want to deal
invited
with
to
it.
the wedding.
You're
Okay.
inviting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
You're
All right.
invited. You got a plus one.
Hmm.
You do
Hmm.
not want to go to it.
Hmm.
Okay. Kid gets sick 2 days before, and you're like,
Yeah.
yes. It's like the
Oh,
hurricane came in, and
yeah, we
then
have the excuse.
I know, not obviously,
Yeah.
the hurricane's an awful thing and all of that, but it's interesting. I think that was people think that the hurricane might be more of a factor than it is. I
Hmm.
think it was a small factor that just kind of became another reason to cancel the
I
show.
I think it was just an, an excuse, a reason to use, but there's something else brewing with that.
Yeah.
Um, I also had the thought, Nick, around is this just an example about how like they should not be competing with the national? Because the national was, let's call it 5 months ago.
Mm.
Um, but part of me feels like this Orlando one wasn't really going to be a national. It was only going to be like
Yeah.
300, 400 tables. And that is, there's one
It's
in
nothing.
Boston coming up soon. That's 300 or 400 tables. So it's like, I don't know. I don't think it has. anything to do with.
This feels like if it's like Disney and Six Flags, right? So you got Disney in a couple places in the US and a few other places in the
Mhm.
world. And then now you've got Six Flags opening up in, whatever, Texas. And
Yeah.
then Six Flags, like, I'll give this state a shot. It feels like this Six Flags didn't work out for whatever reason.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's one of those things where they had a tripwire and it's like, if we don't get a certain number of interest, reservations, some sort,
Sure.
there has to be some sort of
Yeah, I'm
pulse
sure
meter
there
there,
was. Yeah.
and it feels like they didn't meet it, which the deeper question is why.
Why?
Is it the region, is it the
Hmm.
timing, is it, I don't know, we don't know.
We didn't even bring up the fact that they already canceled another one too. There's supposed to be one in Pittsburgh. That one didn't happen. Then the
Yeah,
Orlando one didn't happen.
this isn't Tops Now. You don't want to you don't want to oversaturate shows. Very
Yes.
different than printing 500,000
Yes. I mean, there's
cards.
been rumors about how there's going to be one in Los Angeles. Maybe they should just do an LA one and a New York one every year.
Yeah,
Make it special.
or maybe a Toronto one. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
It'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see what happens with the next one, because if this happens twice, then you start to wonder
Well, Nick, it
what's
did
going on.
happen twice. You're saying
Oh,
three
the
times.
Pittsburgh. Yeah,
It's the
sorry.
Pittsburgh one.
All
It
right,
already
I'm going to
happened.
say three. If it happens three times. No, you're right. So that's a
Yeah.
sequence of events that matters. I mean,
Hmm.
one is a coincidence, but two is a pattern,
Hmm.
and three
Yeah.
is
I
trend.
don't think there was a hurricane for the Pittsburgh one.
No.
No.
So interesting. Maybe they couldn't
Yeah.
get like all the celebs to line up, and I don't know. Should have had it in Miami, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Miami would have been a good one.
All
All
right,
right. What's
what's
next?
we got PSA and GameStop, which I
Mm.
find interesting. GameStop has a very young demo. It's very gamer focused. My son loves GameStop. He's 9.5 years old.
Sure.
And they've announced that they're going to partner a very significant partnership with PSA. And that partnership, one of the big components of it is that they're going to be a center for submitting cards to get graded by PSA. That's very interesting because
Hmm.
if you think about the regionalization of bulk graders right now, you go to your local card show and you may have one or two that kind of do your area, right? But if you don't go to card shows, you don't know anything about this, right? Everybody's going to the mall. Everybody's going to these shopping plazas. They see
Hmm.
GameStop. They think like, oh, grade my cards. I got some stuff in the
I got
attic.
some.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think this is great. I think
Hmm.
PSA smart. Nat Turner is very smart. I'm sure he okayed this. This is expanding their audience, and I think it's a really good thing. It's expanding brand recognition
Yes.
and potential pool of customers,
Hmm.
and ultimately, for all the collectors, cards in circulation. Because I think this will draw some stuff out of houses that may never have seen the light of day. So,
Absolutely.
pretty cool.
Absolutely. How do you think this is going to impact the bulk submitters that are out there today?
I think the people that are currently using a bulk submitter, if they love a guy and they use a
Hmm.
guy forever, I don't, they're going to go to GameStop. Eh, I don't think it's going to hurt their current business, but I do think
Yeah.
it may impact like their future business because this is, it's going to a different audience and it's expanding it. Um, Time will tell. It'll be
Mm.
interesting. What do you think?
Shout out to the bulk submitters because the biggest concern I have with this, and I do think it's a great idea. I do think it's very smart of Nat to do this. But my fear of using it is with a bulk submitter, you're dealing typically with a hobby collecting company that's been around for a very long time. They've been doing this bulk submitting for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to treat your cards with care. In some cases, they're kind of cleaning them up, shining them up for you, putting them in the right cases, filling out all the right forms. You're now going to be going to GameStop where you're going to get a part time high school student who's
Right.
going to be ringing you up and filling out your paperwork and possibly submitting these cards for
Yeah.
you.
How are they
You're
going to ship
not going to
them?
get you're not going to get the at least at first, you're not going to get the care and feeding that you would with these bulk submitters. So that's something that I do think about
If I
with
was a
this.
bulk submitter right now, I would try to make a partnership with my local GameStop. And
Ooh.
hey, if you guys are overwhelmed, I'm here for you. I got you. I'll help you handle some
It's a great
cars.
opportunity.
I'll white label myself for you.
Yeah.
That's what I would do if I was in the
Hmm.
area. So,
Yep.
uh, Interesting.
Yep. Any prices come out on that thing yet?
I didn't see the
No,
pricing, but
I
you
didn't either.
imagine there'll be some sort of bulk deal. I imagine you'll be able to get the bulk rate without being a Collectors Club member. That's probably the discount you'll get. And they'll
Hmm.
probably do some kind of promotional thing for a little while too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool though.
Cool.
Very interesting.
All right. I have a really cool story that I want to share with you. You don't know about this.
Okay.
Shout out to our listener, Eddie in Maine. So cool story. I'm up in New Hampshire. We have a place up there. I'm at a Walmart with my son and we're checking out, and the guy behind us has like a couple like Pokemon boxes. So my son starts chatting up with him. He's like, "Oh, do you collect Pokemon?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just kind of getting into it. I got a young son." So Tyler, my son, says, "Oh, my dad right here. He's got a podcast. You should listen to it. You should listen to it." So fast forward to really probably 3 weeks ago, I get this random message from Eddie in Maine. He's like,
Hmm.
"Hey, Larry, this is Eddie from Maine. We met at Walmart. I've been listening to you guys since we met. It's a great show. You and
Wow.
Nick, like, keep doing what you're doing." And I'm like, "Oh, wow, that's really cool." So that this isn't the story. So that's just a bit of the backstory. So Eddie reaches out to me and he's like, "Hey, Larry," he's like, "I'm going to the Patriots Houston Texans game on Sunday. And I hate to admit it, but I'm actually a Houston Texans fan. And I really, really want to get CJ Stroud's autograph on a jersey. How can I do that?"
All right.
So I gave Eddie all the tips that we give. So Nick, you probably want to link to the few episodes that we've had on getting in-person autographs.
Right. And you worked at Foxborough Stadium for the audience
I,
that doesn't know that. So
I,
you know a little bit of the
yeah, the
tricks.
little ins and outs. So I gave him the steps, and I got a great message from Eddie on, I think it was Monday morning, and he sent me like a video and a bunch of pictures. He got CJ
He
Stroud
pulled it
on an
off.
autograph. He's
Oh
got
my
it
God.
on video. He's got
That's awesome.
pictures with him.
There you
It's
go.
it's incredible. So
That's sick.
that was a great story to hear. And thank you, Eddie, for reaching out and sharing that bit with us, because that was
Yeah.
sweet. That was
Awesome. I'll
really
link a
cool.
couple of those videos, but if anybody in the audience needs guidance on this stuff, me and LZ we are well-oiled machines. Getting
Yeah.
players autographs.
We
Name a
got to do it with our
stadium.
eyes
Well,
closed now.
it's really the Boston teams, but it probably
Yeah.
applies to other
Hmm.
places.
Yeah.
We'll,
No, to be honest, I gave him the standard instructions that we use, Nick. I have never gotten an autograph in Foxborough. Never, never, never,
wow.
never at a
Okay.
Patriots game. But I said, "Hey, this is what you got to do. You go try to get here, get there, go in at this time, all that stuff." And he
Yep.
nailed it. He nailed it. So
That's sick.
congrats.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I had to share that with everybody.
Cool.
Yeah. Last topic is, and you've mentioned them before, is Authentics
Yep. Yeah,
authentication.
it's a
What is it?
Facebook group.
Yeah.
It's a couple of Jordan autograph experts. They're great.
Yes.
For the audience, for $10, you can hit them up and say, "Hey, does this card look good?" And they're pretty good. They got a couple of mine wrong actually, which was interesting.
No.
But for the most part,
No, most part they're
they're
great.
accurate. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
great.
they're great. So they had a post recently around their concerns with Upper Deck.
Mm.
They have this, I'm sorry, not Upper Deck. Uh Beckett, with Beckett. My apologies. With Beckett. Um they have some concerns that Beckett is not doing a great job, at least with Jordan autographs.
Hmm.
And they gave some examples, and they actually even kind of called out eBay, and were concerned with eBay that eBay should be stepping in with their authentication process, especially when you're buying these over eBay, and they should be catching them.
Yeah,
So
but eBay doesn't even do on-card autographs, so
it's true, they
it's just
don't.
it's a joke of an authentication program, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a good point. Um, but I
Huh.
think it's just something to watch out for, everybody. It's tough, right? Because it's in a slab and it's like, shoot, it's already slabbed. It's like you should be able to trust it. But apparently, they didn't get into too much detail, but either they're reviewing these in a slab, or maybe someone's trying to cross them over and they're getting denied, and they don't feel they look good. And
I mean, they've said something. One of the two guys said that 95% of Jordan autographs out there are fake is a strong word, but are questionable authenticity or something like that, or just
95%.
yeah, that are not
Yikes.
beyond a reasonable doubt type of thing.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, that Mantle and Ruth, it's like the holy trinity of forged autographs.
Sure.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, Especially Ruth and especially baseballs. I mean, Jimmy Spence, he was on here talking about he spent months like locked in a room like trying to figure out how the baseball should look that Ruth could have signed, signature and all that. And he's
Mm-hmm.
like a renowned expert, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
wild. I think that's provenance matters, not
Mm-hmm.
just the slab. So I have a slabbed 86 Fleer Jordan autograph in a Beckett slab. The provenance is nuts though. I've gotten I think 8 autographs from this guy. He got Jordan in the 80s, at shoot arounds, and it's good. He told me the date this happened,
Sure.
how he
Yeah.
had a book in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel good about it. Plus, it's in a slab. So it's interesting. And then, yeah, I mean, it's always an expert opinion,
It is.
wherever you go.
It
And
is.
an opinion is not, it's not like
Yeah.
the Bible or
Yeah.
whatever. So,
Yeah. So just a correction. I just looked it up as we were talking. I was right at the beginning. It's an upper deck issue. These
okay.
upper deck autographed Jordans, there's something going on with them. That's what it
Whoa.
is. My bad. Apologies, everybody.
I
I took
wonder if
down
it's
the Beckett rabbit hole there for way too long. It was. It was upper deck. It was upper deck.
I wonder because they have Jordan's exclusive autograph
Yeah, they
rights,
do.
right? You
Mm-hmm.
wonder if Jordan's busy. I mean, I doubt he has a ghost signer, but they have sheets and sheets of Jordan sticker autos probably sitting
Still.
somewhere.
Yeah, they still
There's a
probably do.
whole, I have a whole nother rabbit hole with Upper Deck, man. I don't know if everybody knows about the redemption Jordan autographs, but basically in 2006, Upper Deck owned the rights to Fleer. So they re-released these really cool retro Fleer packs. They
Mm-hmm.
were like super, really interesting release. And they current day players had like an 86 Fleer card, which is kind of cool. But there was a Willy Wonka chase. There were 23 Michael Jordan 86 Fleer cards that he signed and numbered, like 1 out of 23, 5 out of 23, randomly inserted redemptions into these packs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
7 of them are still unredeemed. And I was like banging down the doors of Upper Deck trying to figure out what's going on. The best answer I could get from employees and sources was that we destroy cards after they haven't been redeemed after 2
Yeah,
years.
right.
Baloney.
Yeah,
So
right.
my question is,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
all of these cards are 750,000, maybe a million plus cards because they're a redemption and they're
Yep.
numbered and it's like
Mm-hmm.
insane. Where are those 7? Are they really sitting in a vault at Upper Deck? Are they in an executive's attic where you just can never take this out, like that type of thing? Where are they? Did they destroy them? And if they did, that's obscene,
No,
like what happened?
You wouldn't destroy him. Just like you wouldn't destroy a Babe Ruth autograph or a Mickey Mantle autograph, Nick. You
No.
would not. There's
If they
no way they
destroyed
destroyed.
those, oh, the pitchforks
Shame
would
on
come out.
them.
I don't know
Shame on
what
them.
happened. I gotta find this out. It's really
Yeah.
been bugging me. But
Mm.
anyway,
Yeah, you've been on that chase for a while.
I know I
All
got
right.
some answers, but I don't have the whole picture. So maybe the
Mhm.
audience can help.
All right. So yes, it's Upper Deck and it's eBay that they have concerns with. But it is interesting. They're a good follow. They share the Jordan autos and you can kind of follow along as they grade them and what have you. So cool. All right, let's get to the pop quiz question, Nick, as we kind of end this episode. All right. Give me, we're talking movies today.
Okay.
All right. Give me a sequel that is better than the original.
It's so easy.
I-
Godfather 2.
yeah. All
All
right.
right. Now, they're both astounding movies, but the difference is on Godfather 2, you followed 2 timelines
Mm-hmm.
and it was really cool. You got backstory, you got
Mm-hmm.
front story, 2 different all-time characters. Let's see, what else could there be? Yeah, it's got to be that one. I won't
What
do my
about
honorable mentions.
what about Star Wars?
Empire Strikes Back? I feel like that's
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was Back to the Future 2 better than 1?
I think so.
I think so too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So for
Jeez.
me, mine is Terminator 2.
Oh
So much
yeah.
better than the original.
Way better, dude.
So much.
Way better.
Yeah.
Wow, what else is there? I think
Indiana Jones is the second one better. Temple of Doom, I think, is the second one. I don't know if that one's better. I don't know. That one might not be.
Toy Story 2. That's pretty
Toy
solid,
Story
man.
2.
Yeah,
Okay.
versus Toy Story 1.
All right.
I might give it to that one.
Yeah.
We're going with kids
This
maybe.
is a more recent one, but Tyler, my son, said Dune 2 with this trilogy that they're making. The second one was better than the first.
They were both so good.
Yeah. Yeah. But I agree with them. The second one was better.
Hey, I got a current one, man. I really enjoyed the new Beetlejuice movie. That was awesome.
Better than
So
the original,
I
huh?
feel like I feel like it might have been better. It's crazy.
Okay. All right.
Interesting. All right, we're
All
missing
right,
something, I'm
audience.
sure. Let us know.
Give us some
Yeah,
more examples.
cool.
All right.
All right, what do you think? That's it?
That's it.
All right, thanks
All right.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.